Hello, entrepreneurs and all the world out there that likes to read books. This is Joe DeChara, CPA extraordinaire, coming to you live from downtown BGC, Metro Manila. That's right. I am from America, but I live in BGC right now, and that's a whole nother story. Uh, if you're noticing that the image isn't that clear, I apologize. I've been technologically challenged the last couple of days. About a month ago, my computer just stopped working. It decided to not turn on. So I bought a new computer, brand new, warranty, everything. Everything was working fine until 9 o'clock last night when I went to go online and my mic decided it didn't want to be found. So I had no mic. My video was also temperamental, so I had to bring both computers into the shop. But luckily, I had a plan C, my laptop. So that's the story right now. But hopefully, you'll enjoy the content. You see the picture here, Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson, one of the most interesting, maybe one of the most interesting men that ever lived. He's doing things that people thought were impossible, thought were crazy, and Steve Jobs has a quote, something to the effect that the people that are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones that do. And Steve Jobs was one of them. Look at what he did. He changed the music industry. He changed the world. He changed the world, and that's what Elon is doing right now. And what excites me is he's still a young guy. He's still a young guy, and he's still going full throttle. So let me just, I'd like to go through some of the things that I learned about him. And I have a cheat sheet here. I do actually have the book. So I'm a book junkie. I have a lot of hard-covered books, a lot of soft-covered books. I also listen to books on Audible, which is, something that when I started reading books, I never thought would be possible. I also have Kindle, so I have books on Kindle, Audible, and real books. And to be honest with you, I prefer the real books. I like to touch them. I like to turn the pages, and that's just me. I use Audible like when I'm exercising, when I'm out, and I can't actually read a book. Okay, I use Kindle when I don't have my headphones because I don't always walk around with headphones. So I'm always able to access some sort of reading material. And so these, I just made notes on the different chapters. And the first chapter was when Elon was young. He was born and raised in South Africa. And guess what? He was a scrawny little kid and he got beat up a lot. And that's the way it was. Okay, that's the way it was there. And I forget all the particulars, but whatever school he went to or camp, it was normal to fight. And then one year, he grew. He became big, and then he started winning the fights. Okay, and I could actually relate to that because I was a small kid. I moved around a lot. I always got picked on, and then I would have to, fight. I would literally have to fight until I got respect. And then I got older and I got stronger, and I didn't have to fight anymore. I didn't have to actually fight. So Elon, his family, so his grandfather was an adventurer. He flew planes. His father was also an adventurer. So, he grew up in a family that liked to take risks. They like to take risks. And so let me talk a little bit about his father. His father, they had sort of like a love-hate relationship. His father, to be honest with you, is off the wall. Uh, that's all I could say. He wound up marrying and having children with his stepdaughter. Okay. And he started being attracted to her. And Elon had a really big problem with this when she was like 13 or 14. And Elon sensed that. And he basically, I don't think Elon talks to his father today, doesn't talk to his father, and gives him, I think he sends him like $2,000 a month. This is the richest man in the world. Okay. Richest man in the world. So, also, what I got from the book, this guy is driven. This guy is off the charts driven. And, I've learned that there's always a price to pay. With success comes a price. And the price that Elon paid was failed marriages. Uh, the first two women he married divorced him because he just simply wasn't there for them. He was on the phone. He was in meetings all the time. He was 24/7 involved in his business. He had a lot of children. I think he has either 9 or 11 children. Two of them he had with one of his people, one of the people that are at a high level in his business. He didn't sleep with her. They did artificial insemination. So he has 2 children with her while he was with his current girlfriend. I don't think they're married. And she's a pretty interesting character. But so, and also he had a relationship with, what's her name? The woman that was married to Johnny Depp and just had a really big divorce. Amanda Hart. Amanda Hart. She was in Aquaman. She was in Aquaman. So he had a year-long relationship with her. Let me get rid of Elon again. He had a year-long relationship with her. They broke up. He was totally, totally devastated. So also, he suffers from Asperger's syndrome. Okay, he's socially inept. He says things to people that are inappropriate. He's always getting in trouble. Okay, he got in trouble with his business a couple of years ago when he said he was going to take Tesla private. Well, he didn't realize that was against the SEC rules, and he had to pay a $40 million fine. Okay, so he's always shooting himself in the foot. He's always getting in some kind of trouble. People are afraid of him. People that work for him are afraid of him because he'll fire people if they just don't know something. He expects everybody to be like him. He is, when it comes to engineering and production, he is off the charts genius. He hires the world's best people. He could afford it. So he gets engineers, okay? And he tells them to do something in the manufacturing process that they look at him and they're like, it's impossible. It's impossible. They said the same thing to Henry Ford when he wanted an 8-cylinder engine. And he just said, keep doing it. Keep doing it until you have an 8-cylinder engine. Well, that's Elon. Elon makes things happen that other people think are impossible. So the first business that he started was called Zip2, early in the internet uh, world. And his idea was he was going to create a yellow pages online. And what he did, I believe, was he connected like businesses geographically. And it was called Zip2. And his father actually helped him and his brother. It was him and his brother Kendall who had started this business. And his father gave him a bunch of money. I forget how much it was. But he basically financed them, and the business was successful, and he actually sold it for $21 million. That was his first big hit. And he said, basically, he's like, one day he had nothing in the account. The next day he had $20 million in the account. So that's where he got started. So this guy, he just gets ideas. He gets ideas, and they're never, how am I going to make money? He gets an idea, and then he figures out how to make money with it. So one of the things that drove him crazy was the banking system. Okay, he didn't understand why it took so long for checks to clear. Why he had to go anyway. I don't know the whole story, but what I do know is his dream was to create an online bank. Okay, and he did. He created an online bank, and at the same time, they were creating PayPal. Okay, I forget the guy's name. He's Richard Teal, I think. Okay, Richard Teal is a famous, I think he's a billionaire. He helped finance Facebook. He's all over the place. So they were competing. And they both came to the conclusion that they would be better off merging because they're competing for the same customers, and they would have been stronger together. So they merged, and so I believe Elon was the CEO, and I believe he was also the CEO of Zip2. And it seems like for every business he starts and he's the CEO, he gets kicked out. They don't like him being the CEO. So he stepped down as CEO, and PayPal, I think, was bought by eBay, if I'm not mistaken, for like billions of dollars. And Elon was the biggest shareholder, and he wound up with $250 million. Okay, so you would think, oh, I got $250 million in the bank. I'm just going to buy an island, retire, and relax. Okay, that's not Elon. Okay, Elon never rests. He's never going to rest. He's always got to have something big that he's working on. He's also got to have drama in his life. He likes to create chaos. He likes it because he thrives under pressure. He thrives under pressure. So if there's nothing wrong, he's going to make something wrong. And not in a bad way. He's going to say, listen, we're only producing X amount of X. I need to triple this by in 2 weeks, without giving any thought to, is this actually possible? So a lot of things he wants done don't get done. But what always happens is they make progress. Even though he's got insane expectations, and he just wants to push people, and he pushes people. And a lot of times he pushes people out. He pushes people out. Uh, and he seems like, because of his Asperger's, he seems like he really doesn't care. He's like detached. And the truth is he cares, but he cares more about his mission. And his mission, believe it or not, is to save humanity. That's what he sets out to do. So the electric car business, his idea was carbon monoxide gas is killing the planet. We need to go electric. We need to go all electric. And what people don't understand, they don't realize, is Elon didn't create the electric car. Somebody else had an electric car. And Elon basically, partnered with them and then basically took it over. That's the short story. So Elon, Tesla, uh, he didn't actually create it. Okay, somebody else did. And then, and this is an interesting story. He was driving on Long Island, where I grew up, with I think it was a college friend, and he got this idea. He's like, this planet is doomed. This planet is doomed. Something's going to happen if we don't destroy it ourselves through destroying the ozone layer, a nuclear war, or we could get hit by an asteroid. That's how this guy thinks. And he's like, if that happens, human consciousness is done. There's no more humanity. There's no more human consciousness. The only way to save humanity is to get onto other planets. This was the discussion that he had on a trip to, I think he was going to New York City, but he was on Long Island with his friend. So he decided we need to go to Mars. We need to go to Mars. And the United States isn't doing it. They're not even going to the moon anymore. They're not even going to the moon. So he created SpaceX. He created SpaceX with the sole purpose of getting humans to Mars. An impossible thing for anybody. But if anybody's going to accomplish it, it's Elon Musk. Okay, so he starts SpaceX, and he's got Tesla. He's also got this company, and I don't know too much about it. It's called the Boring Company. And it was like an offshoot of something they had. And what they do is they dig tunnels. So he's got the Boring Company. He's also got a company called Neuro something. And the thing with that is he wants to literally insert chips into people's head so that they could just think and do things. There's a video on YouTube. Oh, Neuralink. It's called Neuralink. So if you go on YouTube, they tested this. There's a monkey, and they taught him how to play this game, a computer game. And you could see, so the monkey gets rewarded every time he makes a connection. So there's like a block, and he's got to put it on the other block, and then he gets a reward. And now he was fitted with one of these Neuralink computer chips. And then what you see, they disconnect. So he's doing it with a some kind of lever thing. Okay, they disconnect the lever, and he's still playing the game, just with his thoughts. Now Elon wants to take this idea and take people that have been deaf or became deaf and have them hear, let them be able to hear. People that are blind, let them see. People that are paralyzed, let them be able to walk and use their arms. Okay, so that's another business that he has. So now he's got SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, and the Boring Company. Then he started an AI company. You know that Chat GPT? That was started by Elon Musk. And his idea is he's afraid that AI is just like the Terminator. Okay. That's what he believes. He's like, at some point, AI is going to get smarter than humans and they're going to take over. We need to have a plan to make safe AI. And they started a not-for-profit. He had a partner, and somehow, he and I think Larry Page from Google is involved with this somehow. But he didn't like the direction they were going. They actually became a private for-profit business, and that's what ChatGPT is right now. So Elon started his own AI business. I'm not that familiar with it, but his whole idea is to, make nice AI so that they don't take over the world. Now, at some point in this journey, Tesla and SpaceX were facing bankruptcy. Now, he has over $200 million, and he has to make a choice. Which company is he going to keep? Which company is he going to invest his money in? And he decided, just like he said, they're both my babies. I'm going to make them both run. And that's how he became the richest man in the world. Things like, they were producing 2,000 cars a week. At 2,000 cars a week, they were going to go bankrupt. They needed to produce 5,000 cars a week. And all the experts said it's not possible. It's not possible. So he went public and he said, we're going to be able to produce 5,000 cars a week by this date. And everybody thought he was insane. And guess what? They did it. They did it. So now he's got Neuralink, the Boring Company, SpaceX, Tesla, and another company, because in the end, at the end of the book, he's running 6 different companies, 6 different major companies. Steve Jobs was running 3, which was amazing, but Elon Musk is actually running 6 major companies. Then he decides to buy Twitter. Okay, why? Because he felt like Twitter was the world's, it should have been about free speech. It should have been about free speech. And what he found was that they were stifling the right and promoting the left. So he bought Twitter. That's a whole nother story. But he bought Twitter for $44 billion. He regretted it in the beginning. Okay. Because they, again, and that Twitter was he took them private. Okay. $44 billion. Also, let me say this, people were chastising all these billionaires because they never pay any taxes. So what he did was he cashed in like 40 or $50 billion worth of stock options and paid $11 billion in taxes, more than anybody has ever paid in taxes in history. And he did that just to shut people up. Okay, he didn't have to do that. Anyway, so SpaceX, so he was indirectly or directly involved. Well, I'm going ahead of myself. So now, SpaceX, they got to figure out ways to make money. You can't just send somebody to the moon and make money. So he created the first reusable rocket ship. So they can go up into space, come down and land and use the rocket ship because those things are expensive. So today they do more launches than the whole world combined. China, the United States, they send more rockets into space. He's got contracts with NASA to supply the space station. Okay. But he had the idea, he's like, well, if we're already going up, we could put satellites up there and start our own internet company. So they started launching and putting satellites up there. And now they call it, so there's an internet company called Starlink or something like that. And so now he's got this internet company. Okay, so now that's the sixth company. I'm pretty sure it's called Starlink. When the Ukrainian-Russian war started, what the Russians did was they crippled the Ukrainians' ability to communicate. They knocked out all of their internet. Okay. They went to Elon because now he's got this Starlink system, and he was actually able to supply the Ukrainians with internet service. It saved them. If it wasn't for Starlink, the war probably would have been over a long time ago. Now, going back to AI, so one of the things that Elon wants to do is make self-driving cars. Okay, so long story short, somehow he's linking all of these businesses together. Twitter, because so AI, if you don't know what it takes information and it organizes it. So when you ask AI a question, it's getting it from trillions and trillions of bits of information. Well, there's so many conversations on Twitter. That's one of the sources for his AI. He's using AI to create the self-driving cars. He's got an advantage because he's got more information than anybody else, because all of his Tesla cars have cameras. So he's getting information in real time from the driver's cameras. He's getting information from Twitter. And that, honestly, that wasn't his plan. That wasn't his plan, but that's how it all shaped up. So, by the end of the book, he had already bought Twitter. He fired 80% of the workers. I think they had over 10,000 workers. He changed the whole corporate culture. He changed it from twitter.com to x.com. His ultimate goal is to make Twitter that financial platform that he always dreamed of. He changed a lot of things with Twitter. He's going to make it profitable. And I don't know too much about Twitter. I haven't been on the platform, but just because Elon is in charge, I'm going to get involved with it. Our marketing team is going to start sending out tweets, and that's my review of Elon. It's over 500 pages. It's a long read, but if you want to get into the mind of probably the most brilliant man alive today and see how he ticks, because he really taught me a lot. He's nonstop, meeting after meeting. And when I get tired, I think about Elon. I'm like, listen, this guy has meetings. He'll meet with people 24 hours straight for all of his different businesses. So, yeah, it's a great book. And last but not least, he's the richest man in the world, but he's also tortured personally. Okay. In some respects, you could say his personal life is a train wreck. Okay. He'll probably never really be happy. He'll never be, he'll He'll never have that peace and serenity. But that's him. That's him. Maybe he'll change, but I don't think so. I'm looking forward to the next 5, 10, 20 years of Elon and seeing what else he creates. All right, God bless. Thank you for joining me. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Good night.